We'll start at the start. Everybody say hi to YouTube. That way we can do all this at once. We'll blow this up. SDF released a patch that says test 9 number patch has been completed. All features are subject to change. The changes on the test server: matchmaking, renewal, base camp removal, friend item recoveries, random matching, and shop renewal. And for the record, yeah, anyone and everyone can access test. You just have to get the blacksmith client to do it though. That's all. You can't do it, as far as I'm aware, you can't do it from Steam. So random matching apparently means autofill. So you have the ability to, let's say, go into normals and do random matching or say no. So you can do an autofill for your teammate instead of having to go to, wherever. So we have this screen cap that says, manage to bring out your friend's stuff, no worries. I'll take care of these and send them back to them, huzzah. So it looks like when you get out of the dungeon, your stuff that you took out for your buddy, like your buddy's gear, if you took that out for your friend, it automatically gets yoinked by the goblin, and my guess is that it ends up in the dungeon recoveries tab for possibly $0. Okay, so to elaborate on the friendly return system just a little bit, now that I've had a chance to look into it, the way it works specifically is when you guys go into a raid, whatever you are wearing or holding on you is tagged as like your allies or your gear. Anything that's found in raid is not considered yours. That's still just considered looted. So let's say you kill a boss and like your teammate ends up yoinking an item off of the boss. That item that gets yoinked is whoever ends up carrying it out of the dungeon. If you kill a boss and you die with boss loot on you, and your buddy takes the boss loot and gets out of the dungeon with that boss loot, your buddy owns it. It only counts on the gear that you wore when you went in. That's it. If your buddy dies and you loot their stuff, whatever you carry out of the dungeon with you ends up automatically being returned to them through the goblin return system. And then obviously anything that is left on the person that died, if it's left on their corpse, that stuff doesn't go to the return system. It just goes to standard insurance. But this eliminates the extra step or steps, depending on how much stuff you carried out, to have to trade it to them through like the marketplace or whatever. It just goes right back. Also ends up returning gear to your buddies if you're running lobbies for whatever reason, kind of at the start of a wipe or the start of a new character where you're underneath level 20. We'll still get back to them because you can't use the marketplace to give your buddy his stuff back. I like it. It's a good change. It's very similar to what like Arena Breakout Infinite does with its recovery system. The random matchmaking is we have the ability to check this box that says do not fill empty party member slot. So if you go into like trios, you could leave this unchecked and it will autofill your teammates. And then the shop changes. It made the shop look different, so it's cosmetically nicer. So this looks like stuff on sale. It looks like it's rotating, so like discount ends in 6.5 hours, so that's going to be something else, I would assume. We came a long way. Should be exclusive. I mean, I'm fine with it either way. Personally, it doesn't really bother me either way. I can see both sides of the argument. It doesn't hurt me if other people have the skin or whatever. But I can understand people's desire to want to keep it exclusive, and I just like. I'm right in the middle on it. I have no emotional attachment to it either way. So if the devs turn around tomorrow and they're like, yeah, maybe not like last season, but if it's like a season or two removed, for like a quest reward or something, a season or two removed, and they want to pay like IRL money for it, like I don't give a shit. But if they never do that and that's their line in the sand, I'm fine with that too. It doesn't really bug me. My Frozen Archer gets sold. That's exclusive for Season 2 Warrior. No, I mean, like I said, I can understand the argument. I can understand it. Birthday cake should never be obtainable again. Make it a birthday cake with 2 candles next time. Yeah. Well, I mean, they can always iterate on the skins too, right? As long as people are playing the game, they'll keep showing up. I think it'll be good. Anyway, but that looks like it's everything on test. Okay, so criticism stuff. I have concerns. Now, look, like the player count is low, right? Like there's like 100 people looking at test server right now. It is what it is, right? Like, you're never going to see high player counts on test. Mainly because people don't want to be bothered to have to reinstall another copy of the game for running test server shit through Blacksmith, because you can't do it through Steam, right? So they have to get the launcher, and, like, it's a whole bunch of steps, and no one wants to have to deal with that. So I don't blame them. My concern, though, is 2 issues. One is, like, right now, there's less than a minute for Forgotten Castle. If you queue for Forgotten Castle right now, chances are you're not getting in right away. So it's going to flip to Frost Mountain, and it's going to put people on the Frost Mountain map instead of Forgotten Castle, which is what they wanted. So that could end up being a problem. The other issue that I see is it looks like when it flips to the next map, it kind of like just throws whoever is in queue at the start of the next map, like in. And I don't know if there's gear score breakpoints on this server or on these servers right now or not. I have no clue. So it could be that there are, it could be that there aren't. I don't really know. It could be that they're taking like a tight gear score bracket and then slowly expanding out from there. to like populate the map and then throw everybody in. But every map that I ran, we ran like 3-4 back to back, right? Every one that I've ran so far, the most people that I've seen in the lobby is 3. Me and 2 other people. I haven't seen more than 3 people on a map. Not to say that that wasn't happening and like more people were, you know, like you could have a more populated map. And, you know, when there's 40,000 people playing the game versus 110, like obviously that's going to be a big difference. It's just that like, it feels weird. You know, it leaves you to wonder, like functionally it works. It just leaves you to wonder whether or not like the map is going to have enough people on it when it kicks, especially if you're like queuing like around now, right? Like if I queued at 2 minutes, is there enough people that are going to be like queuing up at the same time till they get more than like 4 or 5 people in the lobby? Is it going to be dead? Like timing is going to be like a weird thing now, I think. So it's tough to tell. But we know like functionally it works. We know that functionally it works. It's going to depend. Like if you're on OCE or SEA, something like that, you might not end up having like very populated lobbies depending on the time of day that you're at. Versus like if you're playing like US East, US West or something, it'll probably be a lot busier. Worried about the map switching over. Yeah, I think what it's going to come down to is you're going to have people that are going to hit go. You're going to have people that are going to hit go. And then what they're going to do is they're going to see that there's like less than a minute left. And then they're going to cancel after like the first 10 seconds or whatever. They're going to call it. And then they're going to wait and then hit the button when the map flips. They'll queue with like a minute left or whatever on Goblin Cave and then be in like for the first run when it flips over to Forgotten Castle. How can they fix that? I press ready, then go AFK? I don't know. I think the fix is population, right? The easiest fix is if there are people that are queuing for the maps around the same time and it's constantly rotating, you'll always have enough of a population to go in. It's just like you'll see what happens with Tarkov, right? Later in the wipe, you end up having queues that are like forever, or they just ease the restrictions and they're like, all right, well, if there's one more guy after 3 minutes, just send it. If timing people to combat people timing the search to get empty lobbies, I mean, maybe. In a way, it'll ensure that you're going to have more people in there than not. It's going to be a real hard thing to try and time it so that the lobby's just empty. I don't think you're going to see an empty lobby ever again. I kind of am leaning toward the idea of if they took the map rotation away and people had the ability to just queue for the map that they wanted, but they had to wait until there were a certain number of people in the lobby for it to go. Like let's say max wait time is like 6 minutes or something. If there's no one there by 6 minutes, it just starts. Or it's like minimum threshold 10 people or something. Or not minimum threshold 10 people. Let's say it's like minimum threshold 5 people plus 3 minutes, or when you get to 6 minutes. Something like that, right? If the lobby fills, fine. If there's like a certain number of people by a certain point in time, fine. Otherwise, when it hits like 6 minutes, just send it. Like I'm not saying it has to be 6 minutes. I'm just saying like example wise. I don't want people to have to fucking wait 6 minutes. Like obviously, queue times in a test server with this few people on it are meaningless. Well, no, I know that. That's not what I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's, you know, max lobby send right away. As more people populate it, maybe it shortens the timer by a bit. Otherwise, you're just going to end up having lobbies that are consistently like 5, 6, 7 people and not 12 or whatever it's supposed to be, you know, for like max population. So I don't know what the answer is there, but wait 10 minutes if you let me sell shit on the market. So like I agree with that too, though. If you're queued up, I also think that you should have the ability to like do some trading. You know, like try to list stuff. And then like before the map launches, like let's say it gives you a 10-second countdown or 5-second countdown or something. So that way, like if you're in the middle of trying to like move some shit around, you're not going to like fuck yourself up. Beginning to wipe your queue times are long because not enough servers, end to wipe your queue times are long because not enough players. Right. But that's what, I mean, like that's what I would like to see though, is some type of a solution that gives people the ability to not like miss queues because there isn't enough people queuing up for that map in the first place. But also you don't want to have to make people wait forever. There could be something baked in that they've already worked up to like, you know, make sure that they're a little bit more populated or whatever. But like, yeah, the late timing thing, like hitting go at the last second so that you get in right away and then see if anybody shows up. There's not going to be any more of that. I think you're going to have to queue up for the map. Like it's going to take a little bit more hands-on work unless they modify it somehow. Or what they could do is take the map rotation away and then people just choose whatever map they're going to queue for. Like how you do it on Tarkov. And then if you end up having to wait 5, 6, 7 minutes for there to be 5 or 6 people on the map at the same time, then that's what you got to do. Yeah, Tef, that's exactly what that means. If you say place my DoorDash order in front of, you know, on my porch, that means that they're going to place the DoorDash order directly in front of the edge of your door so that when you open the door, it has to knock your order over. It's exactly what that means.